So we all heard of what happened to Ime Udoka. Suspension for the 2022-2023 NBA season. It's pretty unfortunate if you really think about it. And I'm thinking of more of a basketball stance. Brad Stevens gets promoted last offseason. Ime Udoka comes in, takes in the head coach role. First half of the last season really wasn't looking too good. They were hovering around 500. Then you get to January 1st, and then they essentially become the best team in the NBA from then until the playoffs, honestly. And then you think, oh, Ime Udoka's a good choice. He's a rookie head coach. He was a rookie head coach who had brought that Celtics team to the finals after being a 500 team for first half of the season. Maybe he could be a coach for the next, who knows, 5 years, especially with this young team still. The best two players on the team are 25 or 24, around that, 25, 26, something like that. So, there was a lot of upside to this after the season. Even though they lost in 6 games to the Warriors, that's a veteran team. That's a championship team who knows how to win. And the fact that they brought them to 6 games, I'd like to think it's pretty impressive. So, how do the Celtics look from here on out? Well, I like to still think they'll be a pretty good team. Maybe the players have matured enough to where they don't need Udoka anymore. Not necessarily anymore, just not there all the time. Maybe they've really learned from last year, learned in that finals run that, there's these specific decisions that you got to make to not, cause a turnover or to not force yourself into a bad shot. It's really interesting to see how this team's going to play out. I know they have just made their assistant coach, Joe Mazzulla, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the Boston interim coach. So we'll see what happens with that. I personally don't think Boston's going to really change too much. I still think they're going to be a pretty good team. I still think that they're going to be one of the best defenses in the league. Their offense is going to keep rolling, especially with the addition of Malcolm Brogdon. Robert Williams did just have surgery, which is putting him out 6 to 8 weeks, but I think he should be good to come maybe late into the first month of the season or early into the second month of the season. We'll see what happens with that. But honestly, it is unfortunate, though. Like I said before, you look at this young coach, and really with not much experience, head coach wise, and he comes in and brings his team to a finals run. And then it just all of a sudden, within day, like you think about it, like a week ago, you're saying Boston's making the finals again. You're looking at it now, and it's like, can they make the finals without Udoka? I personally think they can. I definitely think Tatum, Brown, Robert Williams, Payne Pritchard, Grant Williams, all these role players, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, can be able to, play switch defense and be able to pass the rock without turning the ball over so much. I think Boston will be fine in terms of the season. In the playoffs, we'll see what happens there. It all depends on matchups as well. But I'd like to think Boston's going to do fine, but it is definitely a a stab to the heart a little bit, just because he was a really good coach. He was essentially a top 5 coach last year, maybe even top 3. Yeah, he was 4th last year in Coach of the Year voting. So, you're a team that just lost your top 5 head coach in the league. It's definitely going to be a hit, but we'll definitely see what happens this season.